What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? Alright. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joseph Gross Nasty Gross, and today we're going to be looking at externalities. Gross's Great Externalities is a show where we take an example of an externality every week and analyze it. So today, we're going to be going into the youth of the nations, towards teenagers, looking at the stupidest thing that 21st century America has to offer. Teenagers and Tide Pods.
Do it.
No balls. I guess I'm not that dumb. Come on. I'm not gonna do it, guys. It's so dumb.
Come on. Hey, it's the bottle plan at you, man. You gotta make it.
Do it.
Is he okay?
You okay, man?
I think he's dead. Yeah.
Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the Swami Swans, Swami Swans. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is where we get our externality. Now, what an externality is, for our new viewers and for those of you who have watched us before and are just incompetent and can't retain basic information, it's simply a transaction that is made that has an unintended consequence on a third party or third parties. In this case, the transaction was made when Mr. West made a deal with the devil. He decided that the soft squish of a Tide Pod was more important than his sanity, his soul, and even his life. Now let's take a look at the third parties that were affected.
Abe, what are you doing? Waiting for the break of day. Searching for something to say. Flashing lights against the sky. Giving up my close by. Sitting cross-legged on the floor.
After eating this Tide Pod, Mr. West was forced to watch the world around him crumble because of his mistake. Nasty Gross Jr., the man who was mauled by Mr. West's actions, was never the same. Even after multiple surgeries and multiple years of physical therapy, Nasty Gross's leg was never fully functional. He died at the age of 37 after being asked to stand for the national anthem. Yet this was not the end of the carnage. Mr. West started with Tide Pods and tricycles, but he moved on to heroin and Harleys. He was arrested 4 years later after licking a police officer. Pat Pat Daddy Waters, who had previously worked for Mr. West, lost his job after Mr. West was arrested for licking a police officer. And Kenny, poor innocent Kenny, he had the hardest luck of all. After seeing Abe eat a Tide Pod, he thought he would be fine too. He thought that they really were candy. He ate the entire rest of the container and was pronounced dead at the hospital. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our story. As we can see, this whole externality could have been avoided if Mr. West had simply avoided peer pressure. So in the words of the American Correctional Society, don't do drugs.